Good morning, everybody. I have a question for you. Have you ever been doing something in your house or at work, at the store, and you hear someone telling you, meet me in the garden. Let's go out to the garden. You should go to the garden. I had a viewer on my last video give this post right here. And that really got me thinking. How many others hear in their mind, hey, meet me in the garden? So why don't we do that? Let's go meet him in the garden. Honestly, think about it. How many of us hear those types of words? It doesn't have to literally be meet me in the garden, like how that viewer hears him talking to her, but something to that effect, right? Meet me in the garden. Well, why would he want to meet you in the garden? Think about it. Why would God be calling you to your garden? Now, in the last video we discussed, one, because he is the gardener. That is what he is. He's a gardener. And we as gardeners and Christians have that bond with him in the garden. Now for me, coming out here and walking around and just seeing, I mean, seriously, look at those sunflowers, y'all. Look at how beautiful those are. And then we turn a little bit here and check out that wisteria right behind me, that beautiful purple. That is his creation. So what does the garden mean for me? I'm going to show you all another patch of sunflowers. It's going to blow your mind, but hold on. Being out here in my garden is like a quiet time for me. And I'm sure it is for a lot of others. I can just walk around out here with no stress, looking and seeing what is growing, what's not growing, how I need to water this plant more, fertilize this one. Do we have pests? Oh, check out this pollinator doing its job. You know what I mean? This is just a quiet time for me. And a lot of times when I'm out here, I'm thinking of things. And like this video series, it was out here where I first heard the call to do these video series, to start doing these videos. So, meet me in the garden. Okay, so to me, the first word that popped in my mind when I read that, meet me in the garden, is fellowship. Fellowship with him in the garden, in your quiet time, in your happy place. So let's talk about the word fellowship, because to me, that is what I got the moment I read that message. And the word fellowship has some pretty cool biblical and historic ties to everything. Like, the word's been around a long time because we are social beings, and fellowshipping with him in your garden, I mean, how amazing is that, right? Because this is also his garden. Let's be real. Your garden is his garden. All right, so I told you I would show you these sunflowers. Yo, look at those beautiful hydrangeas right there. But look at all of those sunflowers. Just gorgeous. And look at that tall one. That's easily over 10 feet tall. Boy, if that isn't God's creation. And check it out. We got a wasp in there patrolling. Or wherever it went, right there. Looking for stuff to eat. I know this is a Bible video, but hey, red wasps have a bad rep. Just let them do their thing. Trust me, they're out there to help. Just give them their space. And I do want to say thank you for the overwhelming support and reaching out through your comments on the first video, which I'm putting up right here. That has absolutely blown my mind, and I am eternally grateful to everyone who's jumped on board with this goofy dude in his backyard talking about the Bible and gardening. Okay, so let's talk about the word fellowship, right? Now, what does the Bible say about fellowship? Okay, so I did a lot of research, put a whole bunch of stuff together, and this is kind of what I've come up with. The Bible uses the concept of fellowship extensively, highlighting both fellowship with God and fellowship with other believers. Several key verses emphasize the importance of sharing in faith, resources, and experiences with one another, as well as maintaining a close relationship with God. Yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. Fellowship. Now, that word goes way back for me. I can remember being a young boy in Vine Grove Baptist Church there in Vine Grove, Kentucky, back in the 80s, mid to late 80s, and every Wednesday there would be a dinner before service or before what they did for the kids, like Royal Ambassadors and stuff like that. I remember it being called Fellowship Dinner. I asked my mom, she doesn't really remember, but that's what is in my mind, Fellowship Dinner. So that word goes all the way back, and even then I understood what it meant. It meant everybody getting together to fellowship, to talk with one another, to be with one another. And let's get a little bit more into depth on that. So the definition for fellowship, according to dictionary.com, a friendly association, especially with people who share one's interest. Yeah, absolutely. Just like right now, everyone watching this video, we have two interests that we share at a minimum: gardening and the Bible, Jesus Christ, God. Worshiping, fellowshipping. So yes, we definitely have that one. The biblical context of fellowship. Now this is where it kind of gets kind of cool. The shared experience in unity among believers in Jesus Christ, often described as a spiritual and communal bond. So if we think back, let's just take the disciples, right? 12 of them, they followed Jesus around, and even watching him create the miracles and do the miracles, they still had doubts, but they were always with him. And the Last Supper was fellowshipping. They were fellowshipping in him, in his message, and he knew what was coming. So imagine what it was like for him to sit there knowing what was coming and being there with his people, being there with his brothers. You know, like, really think about that. It's crazy. And you know, like in the last video, we talked about the Garden of Gethsemane. Could you imagine going in there knowing that God, his Father, is asking him to do what he had to do? And even Jesus agonized over obeying. Think about that. That's wild, right? Like, what would we do? I know I'm getting off subject, but man, that blows my mind, y'all. Now, the word fellowship, and I'm not even going to be able to pronounce the Greek word for fellowship, so I'm going to put it up on the screen right here, is this word. And it is a concept. It's a Greek term meaning partnership, sharing, and communion. This shared experience involves mutual support, cooperation in God's work, and a deep eternal relationship with both Christ and one another. So literally that word translates to fellowship. Now here's where we start to get pretty cool here. Or here's where it kind of gets cool. The biblical context. The word is used in the New Testament to describe the community of believers, their shared faith, and their relationship with God. Now the first place that this word is mentioned, fellowship is mentioned, is in Acts 2, chapter 2, verses 42 through 47. These verses describe the early church, or the first church, saying they, quote, continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking bread, and in prayers. So like right there, fellowship dinner, we were breaking bread together. And even though I was a little kid, and I obviously didn't understand the deep significance of it, that's what we were doing. We were breaking bread with each other. When I have parties or get-togethers at my house, I call it a fellowship. We are fellowshipping together. We are breaking bread. We are having dinner together. And it's just a bunch of friends getting together and fellowshipping with one another. It's amazing, right? How many of y'all do that out there? Have get-togethers. It doesn't have to be biblical in nature or gardening in nature, but how many of y'all have, quote unquote, based on the definition, fellowships at your home? Obviously for the holidays, but other than that, right? Now, I find the fact that the Bible starts talking about fellowship in the 5th book of the New Testament. Now, I know what you're going to say, Chad, that's like over half the Bible, deep into the Bible. Okay, well, the Old Testament is the Old Testament. The New Testament focuses on, and I had to write this down because I want to make sure I said it right. New Testament focuses on life, death, and the teachings of Jesus Christ. So the New Testament is all about what's to come. The Old Testament is the history, basically. In layman's terms. Now, why am I saying the 5th book is so important? Well, so if we talk about the first 4 books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, those are all accounts of those disciples' time with Jesus. They're all unique views and versions of their time with Jesus, with his teachings. So the very next book is Acts. Well, is the Bible saying it's like a call to action? Like, here's what you need to do? I would venture to say yes. What does Acts really talk about? It talks and it recounts the early church, focusing on the spread of Christianity after Jesus' ascension to heaven. Okay, so think about that. The very next book after Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is basically a book about what we need to do as a church or as followers in Christ now that Jesus is gone. I think that's significant. I could be reading too deep into all this, but I think that's a significant thing, that they put the book of Acts, and I'm going to call it just action, call to action, right after the first 4 books of the New Testament. Now, on that note, at the end of this video, I'm going to have a call to action for all of us. You can call it a challenge, because if you follow the gardening part of this channel, I like to do challenges. But we're going to have a challenge that literally anyone watching this video can do. So more on that in a little bit. Let's talk about the relationship now between God and us, fellowshipping in the garden, and why that's important. So what I want to do is go over 5 key aspects of biblical fellowship. Now again, these are all written down, so I'm going to be reading them while I'm putting them up on the screen. And I'm going to tie them together with gardening. And you're going to see how right now. So the first one for fellowshipping, biblical fellowshipping, shared beliefs and convictions. Okay, so the biblical side of that. Fellowship is rooted in a common understanding of God's character, plan, and teachings. Well, yeah. When you are fellowshipping in a biblical way, that's what we're doing, right? We're talking about his teachings. We're discussing God's plan for all of us. We're fellowshipping in the word of Christ, in the word of the Bible. And when you take that exact same thing and you flip it to gardening, again, let me read it. Fellowship is rooted in a common understanding of God's character, plan, and teaching. Okay, rooted in. How funny is that? Rooted, gardening. Come on, y'all. I can't make this up. We're already talking about gardening, even in the biblical sense. We all believe in gardening. That's our shared beliefs. Hearing the call. I mentioned in the last video that I venture to guess that pretty much everyone that started a garden had a call to do it. You heard something that made you get out there and start to undertake everything that goes with gardening. Even if it's just one simple little pot of your favorite tomato or pepper or whatever. That is a call and a shared belief and convictions. I am absolutely convicted of being in the garden and of spreading our Lord's word. So right there, bam, done. Next one, mutual support and cooperation. Biblical side. Fellowship involves actively supporting and encouraging each other, sharing burdens, and working together to fulfill God's will. How many of y'all go to a church that has ministries where they go out and help people? Like where I am, we get hurricanes or really bad rains and floods. And a lot of the big churches have ministries where they will go out and help people that have been affected by the storm. When Hurricane Harvey came through this area, 6-7 years ago, whenever that was, I spent a day not 4 blocks from here helping homes that got flooded. Where my house sits, we didn't retain any water. That is right there. I mean, the definition of sharing burdens and working together. Now, we were helping everyone that we could, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Now, we're going to flip this into the gardening aspect. Encouraging each other. I try to encourage everyone in gardening. If someone has a question, I try to answer all the questions that I can. If I don't know the answer, I get the answer, and then I get back to that person, or at least I try really hard to. There's one channel that is a friend of mine who they started their channel by asking me for advice, and I was like, yo, I don't know anything to give you advice on. This was like, I think 3 years ago, and now I literally consider him a very good friend of mine. That is encouraging people in the gardening realm, because let's be real, if you're a gardener, you know that you can get totally bummed out gardening, because you get a lot taken out of you gardening. You get so excited about something, then everything dies. Well, that's discouraging, right? You need someone to pump you up, to get you going, to encourage you. So, right there, mutual support and cooperation. Well, y'all, these leaves are looking pretty not good right now. They were completely green yesterday. I have to add some fertilizer. But look at these red Chinese long beans. All right, come on. Gardening channel. Gotta show some gardening, right? All right, third one, sharing in God's grace and blessings. Biblical side. Fellowship is a shared experience of experiencing God's love and blessings together. Now, anytime we go to church, anytime we're around other believers, we are going to hear stories that you cannot deny are blessings from God, right? On the biblical side of that, y'all, everything we do in the garden is a blessing. It is His blessing to us to allow us to garden in His garden. Let's be real. This is His garden. We're just the stewards of it, right? Everything growing right here is a blessing from Him. And as I spin the camera around, all of this is a blessing from Him. Well, I think this is from Satan. Squash vine borer, you got me. Like I said in the last video, duality, right? You saw all the beauty just now, and then that. It's like, come on. It's not good. Squash vine borers are little winged demons from Satan. Hate those things. Okay, serious note though. Fourth one, doing good works. Okay, doing good works. That could be what I just mentioned a second ago, going out and helping people that got hit by a storm. It could also be delivering food to the elderly or the infirmed. It could be picking them up and taking them to doctor's visits. You know what I mean? Like good works. And you're doing it to help them, not as some kind of personal way of achieving something. You're not getting a monetary gain, I guess is how I'd want to say this. You're doing it out of the goodness of your heart to help our fellow people, our fellow humans, our fellow brothers and sisters, neighbors, friends, loved ones. Biblical side. I'm getting tore up by mosquitoes, y'all. Biblical side. Biblical fellowship is not just about being together. It's about actively working together to make a positive impact in the world, reflecting Christ's love and service. So, Jesus was washing the feet of people, and we could easily be going out and helping people. Now, I have a table at my job where I take in canned goods, and I just sit them on the table, and anyone that needs food, they're more than welcome to take the food with them. I have a sign that says, please take what you need, but leave what you don't need for others who might need it. That is a very simple way, bombarded by bees. Dude, you gotta calm down, Hoss. That is a very simple way of helping people where they might not actively want to say, hey, I need some help, but they can take a few things that might get them through that day. Good works, right? Helping our fellow people. Very important. Again, we're encouraging people. And in the garden sense, this could easily be starting a little community garden, y'all. Or, I'm just brainstorming just now. I have a lot of kids in this neighborhood. I would love to be able to teach them gardening, but you got to be real careful with that in today's world, because your good intentions could be completely misstrewn. So that I don't do yet. Community garden, helping a neighbor with their garden, mowing somebody's lawn, etc. Just being a good person to help people. And mowing somebody's lawn. This is a personal story for me. Back in 2008, when I was in the Army, and I know I'm wearing a Marine hat, so yes, I was in both. I was in the Marines and the Army. All active duty, no reserve, 2 branches. 2008, I had to have back surgery. The disc completely blew out in my lower back. I've got rods and screws that hold it all together and all that. And it was a 3-month recovery process. But where we lived, just outside Fort Hood, I know the name's been changed, but I'm going to call it Fort Hood. They're just next to Killeen in Nolanville, Texas. I wasn't able to mow the grass. I was wearing a back brace, and it took me basically about 6 weeks to really be able to walk. And I was on a walker. So I'm 31 on a walker. Now, where I lived had a lot of military people around me. Now, I wasn't on base. I was off of base, but still there were a lot of military around me. We got a knock on the door one day. My wife at the time opened the door, and it was a neighbor like 3 houses down. He was a chief warrant officer. Now, if y'all don't know the rank structures, I was enlisted. Then you have warrant officers, and then you have all the officers that you hear about, lieutenants and captains and majors and generals and all that. Warrant officers are usually enlisted that then go through a warrant officer program that become a warrant officer. So they're like in the middle. They're still considered an officer, though. Definitely very much higher ranking than I was. And he had seen me trying to walk, because I'd go out on the driveway with my walker and try to get to the end of the driveway and back, and a little bit further and back. You know how it is. It's just a struggle. Anyway, he offered to mow my grass. Y'all, if you know the military, that's not the norm. Let's be real. So that to me is something that's always stuck with me. Someone of a higher rank knowing that his neighbor was hurting, needed help, and completely selfless helped me. That's God's grace right there. Absolutely. Something told him to go help me. And that something was definitely up there looking down, right? Okay, y'all. 5th one, fulfilling the other one, quote unquote, commands. Now, what am I talking about here? Biblical side. Fellowship is a practical way to live out the commands in the Bible that encourages believers to love, support, and encourage. I think I've probably already hit all these already. Love, support, and encourage. Literally, what we do as Christians is all of that on a daily basis. And I mean, that's just a blessing, right? It's amazing. Biblical side, or I'm sorry, garden side. I feel that I always try to encourage people on this channel through helping one another when they reach out to me, uplifting this amazing community of gardeners and now fellow Christians in this gardening community. I feel it's incredibly important for the one another commands. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. If I needed help, I would want someone to be able to help me. And I actually had that happen with Brian from Next Level Gardening, or Little Homestead Big Dreams. He has 2 channels. Go check him out. When I was a brand new gardener, or when I was a brand new YouTuber, I was going through the emotions of, what am I doing? Should I even be doing this? I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting other people's time. You know, all the stuff that you get going in your head. You get that little bird chirping in your ear, and the next thing you know, you're depressed and upset, and you're like, I had reached out to him when he wrote his book, which I'm putting up here on the screen. If you've not read this book, I highly encourage you to go read it. If you're a gardener, go read it. Companion planting is amazing, and everything in this garden is companion planting. Everything. Now, him and I became friends. Last summer, Darian and I went out and met him out in California, had a great time out there, and I literally consider him an incredibly good friend of mine, very good friend. But he gave me the encouragement that I needed at that time. And I try to always pay it forward when anyone reaches out to me, especially beginner YouTubers who just have that need, that calling to start a channel. I am not about competition. I am about encouraging and helping each other. There are enough channels and different ways of teaching gardening on YouTube that we could always use more, right? And the way I say something might be the exact same things that someone else is saying it, but you want to hear it from them, or vice versa. I love YouTube. There's enough space in the gardening world for everyone to join in, and I encourage everyone that if you right now are watching this and you are thinking, man, you know what, he's talking about a call to gardening. Well, maybe I have the call to start a channel. Hey, reach out. I'll help. In any way I can, I will help. Okay, so we just got through the 5 key aspects. I know this video is going kind of long, but let me hit 3 more points and we'll be done, y'all. I mean, seriously, how beautiful is that right there? Man, cosmoses, y'all. Gorgeous. And I should have some other colored cosmoses popping up like soon. These are all volunteers from last year that dropped their seeds last year, went through the winter, and now are growing. You can't beat that. Okay, so I've just talked about all these aspects of the Bible and fellowshipping in the Bible. Let's talk about some verses in the Bible that support these aspects. So we talk about 3 verses really quick. First we're going to talk about is 1 John chapter 1 verses 3. And I'm reading from the new NIV Bible. You may also have fellowship with us. Believers can share in the author's experience of Christ through his ministry. Right there, that is literally saying the word fellowship, talking about how we need to continue being together, fellowshipping in his word. And I did a little synopsis of that. This verse emphasizes fellowship with God through Jesus, stating that those who walk in the light have fellowship with one another. Y'all, that can't be more true. Think about when you're having a down day and somebody comes along, or you read something, or you just happen upon a YouTube channel that seems like he put in your feed. Think about that. That is us walking with each other in the light. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, the second one, Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25. Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some of us are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. So beautiful. Don't give up on meeting together. Encourage each other to basically, let's stay together even though we know what day is coming or the next day is coming and all the stress that's coming. Stay involved with each other. And in the gardening sense, think about that. You have to be in your garden. Like, you have to be out here. You have to be looking at stuff. I've got plants that are dead that I have to pull out that were alive 3 days ago. You know, I've got a lot of beans and things I need to start harvesting, which is, you know, beautiful also. But you need to be in your garden. And if you could be in your garden with someone else, hey, all the more better, all the better, right? And if you're also talking about the Bible and God while you're gardening, hey, does it get any better than that? Okay, the final one, and I absolutely love this one. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Y'all, we need to be together when we are talking about something that is incredibly important to us. For me, and I venture to say everyone watching this, gardening. And also the Bible, Jesus Christ, and following his word. Now, if you're a mechanic, hey, same thing. If you're a baker, same thing. You need to fellowship with fellow people that you can be encouraged by, because that you can be encouraged by and that you can learn from. Because, or what I know, you might not know. And what you know, I might not know. So as we're teaching each other, we're like the iron sharpening each other. So fellowship, y'all. Fellowship, fellowship, fellowship. Find people that are like-minded like you and start fellowshipping with them. And I think if you can combine the two, then, I mean, how beautiful is that, right? Okay, and I do have a bonus one here. Psalms chapter 133, verses 1. How good and pleasant is it when God's people live together in unity? Now, obviously, we're not all living together. We're all across the world. But living together in this day and age could simply be what we do here on YouTube or other media sites, or even if you're in your local area. If you have groups that you can meet, that's amazing. Do it. If you only can watch videos on YouTube, you're still in a community, y'all. Now, we're not living together, but what does it say? How good and pleasant is it when God's people live together in unity? Well, what if it's when God's people fellowship in unity? It doesn't have to be in person. We are fellowshipping right now by watching this video. Or if you're watching other Christian videos or gardening videos, you are fellowshipping. And when you're commenting, you are definitely involved. You are engaged. You are asking questions. You are sharing advice. You are sharing stories. And that is the definition of fellowshipping, in my opinion, in this crazy digital age we live in now. Okay, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned something about a challenge, right? So I'm going to put out a call to action to everybody. This is going to be a fun one and very easy, and it's totally up to you to do. This isn't something you need to post on YouTube or show. This is something for you to do. This is a call to action to fellowship. Here's what I would love for everyone to be able to do, if you're able. I wrote this down, so let me just read it. I challenge everyone watching this video to fellowship with one or more people in your garden. Okay? Bring people into your garden. Could be your neighbor. Could be a person from church. Could be coworker. Bring someone into your garden. Okay? Fellowship with somebody in your garden. Do that. I'm not going to put a time limit on it, but that is my challenge and my call to action to everybody. Get someone in your garden. Talk to them about gardening, especially if they're interested in it. If they don't have any interest in gardening, but you have a common interest with the Bible, invite them into your garden to where you can talk to them about the Bible and show them how the Bible talks about gardening. You never know. You might convert someone who never even thought of wanting to garden to maybe want to garden. Encourage them to pick up one pot. Plant one thing. Plant it from seed, because we all know how excited we get when that seed pops through the ground. Encourage them in the garden. Fellowship with them in your garden. There's a million ways to do this. And like I always have said on this channel from the very beginning, get a kiddo involved in the garden. Now, fellowshipping with them would be a little different, obviously, than with an adult. But getting them involved in gardening, and if you can also relate to them how this is all God's blessing, then you're planting two seeds. And how beautiful is that? Especially when those seeds grow. It might take 30 years, 40 years, but if you plant that seed, you are planting the seed of not only gardening, but also of God, of Jesus. And remember, they go hand in hand. God is the gardener. So that's my call to action. All right, everyone, that is the video for today. I thank everyone again for the overwhelming support from the last video. I have felt such a blessing upon myself in my life, having the reaction and the support of everybody. I don't really know how to put it into words. I honestly wasn't expecting all that, and that just again shows if you listen to what God tells you to do and you just follow him, you reap the benefits and you reap the rewards. And to be completely honest, the rewards that really matter to me are all the comments, all the beautiful stories, some of them sad stories, but with beautiful messages. Keep them coming. Drop the comments to this video down below. Let's keep this new community of Christian gardeners going here on this channel and across YouTube. And I want to say this, if you hear something to the effect of meet me in the garden, y'all, stop what you're doing. Go out to your garden and do what I said in that first video. Just stand there for a minute or two, tune everything out, put your phone away, just listen. You might only hear birds. You might hear insects buzzing. But I would venture to say that if you hear something to the effect of meet me in the garden, that is God telling you to go fellowship with him in the garden. So, stop what you're doing. Take a few minutes, go out there, and listen to what he's going to tell you. Okay? All right, everyone. If y'all enjoyed this video, if you got anything out of it, if you learned anything, if you just want to talk and share stories and fellowship with all of us, please drop them in the comments, and also share, like, subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already. I want everyone to join this fast-growing community of like-minded gardeners and Christians here on YouTube. Everyone take care. May God bless each and every one of you. Continue to shine bright and harvest hard. Listen to him. Meet him in your garden. And I'll talk to y'all again real soon.